I want to call the October 18th, 2023 meeting to order. Brian, do you want to say the pledge? Lead us in pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Eddie Young here, or there she comes. Good morning. Here's Don.
Okay, what do we got? For real property. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the real property exonerations presented this morning.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to approve payroll through October 20th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I couldn't write and say aye at the same time. Anybody any questions on vouchers and invoices, commissioners?
I did not.
I don't.
I make a motion to approve vouchers and invoices.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for October 4th and the emergency meeting for October 16th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You guys state so.
Okay.
There's some on the back too, Alan.
Thank you. I move that we approve the estate settlements. Oh, were they in the packet?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And I'd like to say it's so nice seeing several people here today. Usually we have 3 or 4. So please continue to come out and see us.
There's a bunch of masochists here today.
Yeah, I was one. Let me go ahead and start this while I'm signing this. We'll do number 4 first.
So on our exhibit list, we're gonna skip to number 4, and since there's a lot of people here for that, Anthony. Sorry.
Talk about stacked deck.
I want to thank the commission for giving me this opportunity. And I never thought I would actually have this opportunity, and I'm glad that we're here and are able to talk about this. But I want to first try to impress upon the commission. Jennifer Crane worked here in Fayette County for a lengthy period of time as an assistant prosecuting attorney. She did a phenomenal job for us. The law enforcement officers that are here, I asked them to come and they were supportive of her returning to Fayette County. I asked my staff to come. I did not tell them to come. I asked my staff to come if they were supportive. But when Jennifer turned in her resignation last summer, I posted the job with Indeed, West Virginia State Bar, WVU College of Law Career Services, and got minimal response. Was able to hire Amy McLaughlin as a result of that. Tyler Rohrball submitted his resignation in early July of this year. Again, used those same resources and basically received 2 resumes. One was an attorney that was working at the Kanawha County Prosecutor's Office, and I found that basically he had been told that he needed to find another place to work. The second inquiry was a young man who graduated school 3 years ago, has minimal to no experience with criminal law, and would be basically useless to the prosecutor's office for a lengthy period of time. Jennifer actually came up for Tyler's going away party. And I figured since I had a captive audience, I would broach the subject of asking her if she wanted to return. So we had an informal discussion, and I didn't stalk her afterwards to try to coerce her into making that decision, and came into work, I guess about a week and a half ago, and there was an email from her saying she wanted to sit down and talk. So we did. And as I indicated in my proposal, I am able to meet most of Jennifer's requirements for returning to Fayette County. Two of them I cannot without the commission's intervention. The first has to do with the probationary period employees have to go through. And as I indicated in my proposal, I think it would be beneficial to Fayette County on a whole if we adopted a new policy. I presented a proposed policy to the commission that basically allows a returning employee who left in good standing to not be required to go through the probationary period. In speaking with Ruth, Ruth also advised that if the commission was to approve Ms. Crane's rehire, that we could make an exception to that rule for her as a key employee and allow her to immediately begin accruing annual leave and sick leave. I don't care which route we go, as long as that gets taken care of. Now, the second request is more problematic, and that has to do with Ms. Crane's requested compensation. She's currently working as an assistant prosecutor in Kanawha County. She indicated to me she was being paid $87,000 a year. She asked that her salary be maintained at that level if she returned. And I've kind of joked with Jennifer that at $87,000 a year, she's a bargain. I mean, realistically, she has been a licensed attorney for 25 years. She spent roughly half of that time working as an assistant prosecuting attorney. She has spent another, if I remember correctly, 10 years or so working as a criminal defense attorney. So she has roughly 20 years of experience in criminal law. More importantly is if Jennifer returns to the prosecutor's office, she doesn't need to be supervised by any other attorneys. She doesn't need to be trained. I mean, basically, when she walks through the door, I'm going to hand her a stack of files and say, here, deal with this. And the reality of the situation at our office when Jennifer was here, the major felony cases were divided more or less equally between Jennifer and I. We don't have a lot of murders in Fayette County, but I can tell you they consume a significant amount of time. They almost always go to trial, and then there's a whole host of other complicated cases that again require an attorney with extensive experience. Now, as far as the other attorneys in the office, I'm not diminishing their importance, and I'm not diminishing their abilities as lawyers, but the remainder of the attorneys in my office have limited experience in handling complex felony cases. I'm confident that they'll get there someday, but at this point, I'm pretty much the only one in the office that has the experience to handle complicated criminal cases. I've been lead counsel in I think 45 trials at this point, including quite a few murders. With Jennifer's return, basically, we'll be able to divide that workload again between myself and Ms. Crane. That will free up time for me to basically, I think, attend better to the needs of the county commission. This past 15 months since Jennifer has left have been very difficult in my office for me, to say the least, because a lot of what Jennifer was handling, I assumed responsibility for and kept the responsibility. But with Jennifer returning, the workload can be divided again. And as I indicated in my proposal, Tyler's position has been vacant for as long as it has been. Ms. Crane indicated that she was expecting, assuming the commission approves the request, she was expecting to start here sometime. I believe we talked about November 13th, which would be the first day of a pay period. So by the time she returns, there should be over a $15,000 surplus in prosecutor's office budget from where Tyler's position hasn't been filled. The position is currently budgeted for $68,000. I need an additional 19 to meet Ms. Crane's salary requirements. So I think, as I said, most of that can be made up for the current fiscal year through the surplus from Tyler's position being empty. But clearly, if the commission is willing to do what I'm asking, essentially, I believe that will, in the long run, save the commission money, and I think we can structure this so that it can pay for itself or come close to paying for itself. And not to diminish Michael Taylor as an attorney. Michael's been an asset to the county. He's handled some things that I would have been uncomfortable handling because of my relationships prior to becoming prosecutor. But as we all know, Michael doesn't work for free, and nor should he. But I believe if we can free up my time, I'll be in a position to better address the needs of the county commission. I know one of Mr. Commissioner Brenneman's important goals is to deal with the dilapidated housing issue, and we've made some progress there, but I think we can make more progress and quicker progress if my time is freed up from what I've been dealing with, and if Jennifer comes back on board. In my proposal, I've given the commission an idea of how I want to restructure the office and basically use Mr. Tony's, Wes's skill set, I think, is more suited to the civil aspect of what we do at the prosecutor's office, county commission, zoning, legislative issues, dilapidated housing. And I think Jennifer's skill set is more suited to the criminal part of what we do. And it would be my proposal that Ms. Crane return as deputy chief assistant prosecuting attorney, and that we'll take steps to start divvying up the responsibilities as set forth in my proposal. And finally, I just want to say, since I've taken office, I got to work with Jennifer for about 2 years before she left. I can't say enough about Ms. Crane as a prosecutor. She handled some of the most significant prosecutions that my office handled since taking office. She prosecuted Brian Willis successfully for the double murder that happened on Willistown Road, and the arson. Obtained a first-degree murder conviction with a recommendation of no mercy, which means Mr. Willis will die in prison. She successfully prosecuted Hayden Dixon for the murder of Trinity McAllister. Again, first-degree murder with a recommendation of no mercy, which means Mr. Dixon will die in prison. And perhaps most importantly, she prosecuted Henry Joe Ward. Mr. Ward had some interaction with one of our deputies, Cody Pearson, who's here today. Mr. Ward tried to shoot Deputy Pearson, and thankfully, Cody came out of it with relatively minor injuries. What could have been just an absolutely catastrophic scenario ended in a relatively benign fashion. But Jennifer went to trial on that case and obtained a significant conviction, which I think basically shows that here in Fayette County, we support our law enforcement officers. And secondly, and perhaps most importantly, our office isn't afraid to go to trial, and our office isn't afraid to take things to trial, and our office isn't afraid to work. And it's interesting when we see how cases are handled in other counties. And I think Fayette County, we prosecute aggressively. We do that for a reason. We take crime seriously. We take the work the law enforcement officers do seriously. And having an attorney such as Jennifer in the office allows us to prosecute aggressively because she has the work ethic, she has the experience, she has everything that it takes to back up a policy that is aggressive and conservative when it comes to prosecuting criminals. So just to sum things up, when Jennifer submitted her resignation, I remember her coming into my office and she thought I was going to be mad at her. And I basically, I can never be mad at an employee for trying to better themselves or trying to advance their career. I mean, that's just silly. And she gave me almost a full month's notice. We ended things on a very amicable foot, and I'm glad things ended that way because she obviously felt comfortable enough to have a conversation with me about coming back here to work. But at the end of the day, I'm asking that the commission approve Ms. Crane's rehire under the terms that I've discussed. I can't say enough about her as a prosecutor, a friend, colleague, and I think she will be an asset to Fayette County. We are not going to find a lawyer. The odds of finding a lawyer with 25 years of experience, 20 of which is in the area of criminal law, who's willing to come to Fayette County is, I think the odds of that are almost non-existent. So,
And most of those years were here.
and most of those years were here. Some were in Nicholas County, but the overwhelming majority of her time was spent here in Fayette County. She knows both judges. I told both of the judges that I was trying to bring her back. Both Judge Blake and Judge Ewing expressed they expressed positively about her coming back because they know how she works as an attorney. They know she's prepared, they know she works hard, and they know that when Jennifer's handling a case, they'll have fewer issues to deal with. As attorneys, we can make the judges' lives easier or more difficult. I mean, I don't know if anybody read the news coverage about our colleagues down in Kanawha County, but I hope I never have my name in the media in that context. And certainly don't want any of my assistants to be in that position either. But I can't say enough about Ms. Crane, and I'm hoping the commission will agree and approve my request.
We have made an effort to start trying to compensate our key employees better because we've had recruitment and retention problems across the board. I mean, we've tried to give the deputies raises every good chance. And I think this is warranted. You didn't have to sell me on her experience and qualifications and worth to the county. So that said, I'm going to make a motion up. I want to tell my colleagues, as the commissioner who handles a lot of our administrative policy, and I work with county administrator on this, we've discussed it, and we would like to wait to make a full policy decision on what from henceforth our policy is going to be to a later date, because we're working on the employee handbook. However, in this case, I'm going to move that rehire Jennifer Crane at the salary the prosecutor recommended and make the exception to the leave policy so she can start earning leave here. I think that is a big retention and recruitment issue, and that's something the county administrator and I are trying to work out. So,
And what's the start date?
November 13th.
We putting it up, but we discussed sometime about the middle of November. We talked about November 13th because that was going to be the first, unless I calculated wrong, I think that's the first day of the pay period.
Probably, but it's not a big deal anymore.
Okay.
My second. All in favor?
Aye. Welcome back.
And Ruth, hey Ruth, could you make sure you put 30 minutes for Anthony next time he's on?
I'll own that. My staff disagreed about it.
Hey, this is what I handed to everyone.
Yes, if it was a trial.
All right. Thank y'all. Glad to have you back.
Yes.
Definitely welcome back.
Anybody from Oak Hill on there? I didn't think he was coming. I was. Well, he's not.
No, but just as a point, I don't know who those other numbers are.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a few words.
Anthony, you know how to clear a room. Look at that.
Yeah, right.
All right,
I think he's gonna stop it. to be honest with you. All right. Wow. Okay, I guess. Well, there's a discussion decision about Oak Hill Fire Department expense reimbursement. And I don't see Tim here today. But I want to say a few words just about this reimbursement and the development of the fire department in Oak Hill. Could you bring that up on the, is Amy, could you bring that up?
I'm working on
it.
It won't take me as long as Anthony, believe me.
I was wondering for a minute.
Just the final page, if you would, the last, let's see, let me see if I can see what thing it is. Shows the total design.
This one?
I should have had it all laid out there. I felt Amy knew which one I was gonna see. Give me just a sec. We got 10 minutes there before we gotta move on. I'm not gonna play that much anyway.
It's not this one.
No, it's the page that shows what's within the fire department. Okay. Let me see, I think this is it right now.
So it'll have a page number down here.
Yes. A1.01. Yeah, it's it right there.
That's it.
Only thing I wanted to say about this, on this reimbursement, I want to mention a couple of things. You know, I've tried to work with the fire departments on trying to provide better services. I have a plan out there. I actually even have a spreadsheet to show select full-time fire departments throughout the county. And I considered Oak Hill being one of them select departments. I wasn't gonna come out with that until all this come up, this design. But the reason I'm got this part up here is in planning for the future in a fire department or any division or any business. To me, when you do a redevelopment of something, you want to plan for the future, maybe to have full-time fire department. And when I seen this, I thought that's what Oak Hill might be doing. Because what I wanted to do, and I'm only one commissioner, is I wanted to see what Oak Hill actually funds their fire department. And see if the county can come up with what funding we have and come up with a plan to get make it a full-time fire department for better services throughout Oak Hill and other part of the county. But when I seen this, I didn't see that there was any bunkhouse, any bunk rooms or anything else like that. And I was kind of disappointed in it. But what I'm going to mention here now, just very short, I would like to request Oak Hill Fire Department Chief Tim and somebody from the municipality, maybe to work with me on showing the figures where they support the fire department. And maybe the county can come up with the funding and we can maybe have a full-time fire department in Oak Hill for better services in that district. Now, Oak Hill don't only serve Oak Hill, they serve outside of Oak Hill too. So that's my request, and that's what I wanted to say about this. And I want to postpone the decision, if it's okay with the other two commissioners, postpone the decision on this reimbursement.
A second.
John, any questions?
You know what date you want to postpone it to, or?
Until maybe one of them get a hold of me and see if we can't work out something about giving better services to that district and that they serve.
You want to we have to pick a date.
We have to pick a date.
You want to do it for January, just placeholder?
November 1st. Let's do November 1st. Hopefully somebody gets with me and wants to maybe see how we're serving people a little bit better. Not saying Oak Hill has bad service, gosh, everybody will take that the wrong way. So I'll make sure that's the thing. Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
Well, I always forgot that.
Okay, now we got 5 minutes, Ruth.
All right, the first thing on the list was the procuring legal services for the gig ready project. Amy, do you have any info on that?
It's just that email. I mean, we have a bunch of stuff from previous, but I don't have anything about the.
Is
legal
Amanda
services.
on there by any chance? So I think
Amanda's tomorrow.
basically you're gonna have to vote.
Yes.
Yeah, Amanda's on here.
There's
Good morning, commissioners. How is everybody?
Good
Good morning,
morning.
Amanda.
So really, this is just, we've already done the gig ready application for Fayette County. What this does is just move the project another step forward to go ahead and procure legal services. Should the project be awarded, you're in a better position to go ahead and move forward with any legal agreements that may come about with the project. So this is really just to better position the commission should the project be awarded. And this would just begin the procurement process. So we would just run the ad, the same as we did when we procured engineering and an internet provider.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
right. The next item is the record rotation update.
Who has the lead on that?
Well, I guess we're gonna let Tanja.
Oh, she's here.
I thought she would automatically step up, to be honest with you.
Don't really have a whole lot. That's why I invited all the owners of the record services here, so we could kind of have an open discussion, I guess. But I did bring the numbers from when we started the 90-day trial, July 1 to October 1. But I also brought numbers from January to the end of June to kind of compare. So
Now, how's it been going? I guess that's the first question.
we haven't really seen a whole lot of, I mean, like a big difference. I know in the very beginning, there were a few complaints from law enforcement, as far as are we sending, a record from the valley all the way to Oak Hill. And then I guess that's kind of turned into, which this is always been a thing. I mean, if someone requests for a certain company, we have to send them. And like I said, everyone's always done that, whether it's law enforcement, fire, or whoever it may be. They've always done it, they still do it, so, but like I said, I haven't seen a big difference in the numbers.
So everything's been working okay the way it is now?
I feel like it has, but, that's why I wanted to invite everyone here which I haven't heard from anyone really since we started this either. I haven't heard from any of the record services.
Do we
You
still
know.
have the same amount of records working for us?
Foster's is no longer on rotation.
Okay.
And we took them off of rotation, when we did the last,
Meeting.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
record service owners, do you have any comments on the change in policy? Has it been working better, same?
I think it's a lot better. I mean, I don't mind it at all. I don't like it.
Okay.
And I have reasons. I mean, I went to the 911 center yesterday and I got a copy of the call log. And Earl here, they didn't even write down how many calls or anything he had. But then when you come down here to.
they're in the report, the numbers.
Yes, yep, they're right on this part right here. And then the Anthony's truck repair, 63 calls, B&M towing, 1 call.
No, that's not right. I'm not sure.
I know,
what
but that's what I'm
report she
saying.
gave
I
me
mean,
yesterday.
But the way y'all done this log thing this time, you can't look at it and tell where anything happened because it'd take a act of Congress and 3 logs.
They're hard to kind of read sometimes. those reports.
They divided it all up instead of going through a call log where you could actually look at it and see where you've been called out and where you haven't. They divided it all. But I mean, it's just like Tad had 48, Danny's had 2.
I think you may have an old report there.
Well, I mean, they gave it to me yesterday. I just walked in yesterday and got it. And DTE
Because
39.
Chad is no longer on rotation, on
Yeah,
rotation.
that's what I'm saying, but Fox's got 16. But, and Prudence got 72.
Tandra, is that the regular report?
that I have right here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can you email me that?
Yeah, I emailed it, a couple of weeks ago to all of you, all Amy and Ruth.
Oh, it's in the packet? Okay.
And of course, it's gonna show Anthony's because, Anthony's and TNC, you know, some of those. Yeah, when we have to call them for big records.
Town top ten rotation.
They do, but it, I mean,
That's the thing, this whole Oakland County, that's the thing that we warned everybody about when they started that. Because these officers are not wanting, they're not gonna, when they have a DUI, they have a certain amount of time to process it. Well, for them to sit there, and that's what I'm getting, all the thing is, they're not gonna wait on you to come out of the valley, they're not gonna wait on Logan to come out of there. They need to get that car off the road and get their processes started for their DUIs, or whatever process they need. So that's the thing that we warned everybody about when we started this, that officers are gonna start requesting the closest record.
and they've always done,
And they
that's why we
always
said
have.
that.
But the thing is, but it always makes the tow truck drivers mad because they are requesting to get it out of there. I mean, I don't understand, got a roadblock.
Or the dispatchers, you know, they always take the,
Well, just like the other day, I mean, you had a wreck on 19 and you had a fire truck hook the chain to a truck, pulled off to the side because they waited on Foster's to come from Dollar Bridge to Fayette. I mean, that was just, what even a month and a half ago?
it was longer than that because they've been off a rotation.
Well, whenever
Yeah.
Foster, but I mean, that's the kind of stuff that's happening.
They don't ever take me out of that.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, that's what's going on, because the fire departments are like, hey, we're not waiting on records. I mean, the cops don't wanna wait on them, I mean, like, literally, when we get a call, and I've actually, we've actually went back and researched it. But just like the other day, I mean, it's about 2 weeks ago.
accident.
We actually got a call to go to the bridge in Florence. Well, literally, we can dispatch, and 16 minutes later, the officer's calling for the EPA. Well, according to the bylaws, we had 45 minutes to get there, even though my guy was on scene in 26 minutes. But, I mean, that's the timeline, because and my guys better be, which they should be, calling in and show it on the scene times, because we all, but that's what I'm saying, but the requesting of the officers in the fire department with open rotation on the county like that, we're not gonna change it, because that's just like in Logan's area, they're not gonna wait on me from Oak Hill to come all the way to Anstead to tow a car that, that Logan's sitting right there.
Yeah, that's another thing that Danny has, brought up, because you all were getting more calls over here. But that's another thing too, this side of the river is a lot busier. There's way more traffic over here than there is on, north of the river.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why McDonald's is on this side of the river, not that side. Well, be honest about it.
Oh, yeah.
It is what it is, economics of business.
I can see that also, like it's not.
Yeah.
They don't want to be.
Right.
That's understandable.
And I think that's the reason we changed it this way, is because the officers was having a hard time, and the fire department was having a hard time getting in a rotation, just what Mr. Lawrence was saying, getting them from one area to the other if they're a long ways away, and it's a problem. So that, I think that's why the commission decided to do it the way it is.
61 and stuff, like that.
Let's see.
I'm gonna go through the whole thing and I'll let you know.
That's gonna be the problem.
You gave this to me, right?
And actually.
Yeah, it was-
I spoke about yesterday.
I mean, I think, and this is my personal opinion, and everybody's in the room, so we can discuss it a little bit. But I think that during bad storms or something, we need to zone areas or something, because the thing is, if we have a bad storm and, 19 gets bad or areas of the county get bad, then the thing is, them waiting on you to get up to 19 or trying to get across the bridge. That's the thing. That's where the problem's gonna be with the open policy.
Here's what I would like to request, because I love that all of you came, and thank you so much for coming. I would like you, Tanya, to get together with the record company owners and hash this policy out. And we did it once before, I know, and we're open to constantly tweaking it to make sure we're not having the issues that you're concerned about. So if you guys could please get together and come up with some recommendations to change it. I don't think this is the place to hash it out, the recommendations, but yeah, I mean, not that we're not interested, because we are. But you're the experts and we're not. So we'd like to see you come, and even if you don't all agree, then you'll have the opportunity again to tell us why you don't agree with whatever the group came up with. But could you please organize
Could
that?
leave it as is for now, so we.
That's what I.
That's what I'd like to do, yes.
You know, nobody's absolutely gonna be happy with, I mean, there's always gonna be issues. I mean, I've been up there since 2019 and you can never get two parties to agree on the same thing. And when you get 16 or 8 of them, it's really, really hard. But figuring out the best thing for the public also, the police officers, fire departments and the public, that's the three things sometimes you really gotta look at in the whole scheme of things.
And I think another thing you ought to look at is our customers. I mean, who wants to pay a record bill to have one towed from across the county to another side of the county when you have a record right here available that can get it, and it would be a whole lot cheaper than towing it from across the county. I mean, if your vehicle got towed in, would you want to go along the Timbuktu to pick it up?
So we're gonna, I
Well,
guess
if one of
let's,
your customers is in an accident, or something, you know, they're gonna request review
But,
anyway,
but,
right?
but anyway, I mean, if any customer, I mean, any customer, I mean,
Okay.
when they, once you take possession of their vehicle, they become your customer. But I mean, it's not right for the people to have to pay out for it.
I don't mean to cut you off short, but we actually have a hearing at 9:30 we need to get to. And so if you could set a meeting up, Tanya, and y'all try to hash it out.
Certain day that we wanna come back, or.
No, we'll set it after you have your meeting.
Hash it out
Just let us know.
first.
Yeah.
Hash it out first.
And I will have a chance to go through here and check everything like I usually do, so
Okay. All right.
I have questions.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Thank you.
Angie, you want to do the 9:30 and bring this?
That's something you gotta do.
The actual hearings, because they might be present.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so-
They can be, yeah, that's what I thought.
Because they're in New Jersey.
Hattie, maybe we can just ask if she's on there.
Yeah.
Do you want, Angie, you want to just ask? Somebody ask?
Well,
It's 6:09 for them.
is there a Miss Hattie Davis on Zoom? Okay,
Amy called them and told them, sent an email.
did you get any confirmation?
They wrote back once, and when I talked to them, that they knew, and did not get an email back from the last email. Did you get an email back when you sent pictures?
I sent them pictures yesterday, I sent them pictures, they would know. And they didn't. No, they didn't.
Anthony, what are your thoughts?
Well, they were notified about the hearing.
After they requested, I mean, where they requested a hearing, and then Amy called them and gave them the time and sent them Zoom information.
How much advance notice do they have about the hearing?
Oh, it was well over a week ago that we talked to them.
It was put on the agenda.
And just to clarify, I didn't get a bounce back on an email, and neither did you, so. It
But
was
that-
going good.
How have they been communicating with us?
They wrote a letter, requesting the hearing after they got the notification.
How did you get their email address?
She gave it to me on the phone when I spoke with her because then after the letter, you tried to call once and they didn't call back, so then I tried to call twice. It took me twice to get them. I spoke with the son Ralph, and then he put his mother on the phone, and she gave me her email address. But then Angela has talked to them since then,
Yes,
because he did confirm that he wants the house to come down. Correct.
last Thursday.
And they were supposed to attend by Zoom?
Yes, and Amy sent them the Zoom link.
Because I CC'd Angela on it, and then she responded back yesterday with the photos from yesterday.
Well,
I mean, there's only so many times that.
I think we
should
can
have to-
move on and we can go back to that item one more time if they pop on, but
I mean, I can go outside and
Yeah.
call them.
Would you go, yeah, call them.
The only The only concern, and of course, we're still kind of figuring this out. The only concern I have is it's not sounding like we issued a written notice of hearing to these people. It sounds like it was informal communication.
They requested the hearing themselves and we put them on the agenda.
Okay, you're missing the point.
Okay.
The point is,
I
I'm
understand.
not trying to be difficult,
Yeah.
but the point is, if I ask for a hearing in front of the circuit judge and the circuit judge gives me a date and I don't send out a notice telling the other side, a written notice telling the other side that this is going to be addressed on this date at this time.
Okay, that's the first time that I would have ever done it that way. So if we're gonna change the rules every time, we're gonna need to write down these rules because it's like every time we have a hearing, everything
And
gets
that
changed.
goes back to my first comment about we're still figuring this out as we go. I mean, I think we could go forward. I think she's gonna be hard pressed to say she didn't have notice, but if you wanna be safe. I mean, I can come up with a form notice of hearing that we can send out and make it part of the county clerk's file on the case.
They can probably send it out for us.
And then basically, at that point, I mean, I think they're gonna be hard pressed to say they didn't have notice, but we don't have a formal notice of hearing that's in the court file and that was sent out, so they may raise that down the road.
You know what I'm gonna say? I want to give them formal notice.
No, I agree.
Cross the T's, dot the
No, I
I's.
agree. And it's not Amy's fault. It's
No,
just, it's just
not, and like
not
I
Amy's
said,
fault.
we're figuring this out.
making sure that there's no issues that come back on the commission is the only thing.
But
we're doing.
I will do a,
I think you can do it through the clerk's office and have Michelle do it. She's our clerk of court, so.
well, it's just basically, as you know, Allison, notice of hearing is form, we just.
Just want to make sure she has it,
Yeah.
you know. Okay,
Yes,
all right.
Amy, it's not your fault.
well, I move that we postpone this to December 6th.
And I wasn't suggesting.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Hey, Angela, I do have a question. Is this the property where we were told the lady had passed?
No.
Oh, This is a different one that looks just like that.
Yeah, so this.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Alright.
This lady called, and I told her that she would get a notice of hearing.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna say
they-
it's gonna run till hours.
Yeah.
do we have a phone
I
number?
mean, we can do it, but 10 o'clock, what is
We have
10
two
o'clock?
phone numbers for them.
Discussion.
Can you try calling?
I thought I tried to call
We can just go ahead and make a decision on this, okay, and then go into executive session, yeah.
her. Yeah.
Savvy enough to.
That'll give us a little more time.
Yeah.
Because I gotta help you. Rick, can we go?
Can we just go around my? Or do you wanna do?
I wanna do
10.
10.
That's what I want to do, 10, and then maybe go to executive session. We don't, there's no,
Well, let's knock out the easy stuff. It's 10 o'clock. Is Leslie Taylor on there? Leslie's on there.
Sweet. Morning, Leslie.
Good morning.
You're up.
So this morning we want to talk about the hazard mitigation grant program application, the deadline and the requirements for the grant submission. So just a little background, the hazard mitigation grant program through FEMA is a combined effort of citizens, units of local government, the state and the federal government to reduce the cycle of repetitive disaster damage due to flooding. This is a 75% federal or FEMA cost share and 25% non-federal or local cost share. To date, we at Region 4 have received 4 applications from individuals in unincorporated areas of the county who would like to be considered for this program. Are you commissioners, are you aware if anyone else has submitted any applications? I do see, it looks like maybe Kevin has his hand raised.
Okay. Kevin?
Good morning. Can you hear me? I'll try to get unmuted.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. We have not received any further applications here at the Emergency Management Office. we had those applications available to the public, was on our website. I think the county put it on their website. Nothing has come in. And also, I had a conversation yesterday with our grants management specialist in Charleston just to confirm if we have heard anything from the governor's office on the requirements of the 75-25. And as yesterday, they still have not had any kind of guidance given on if the governor is going to require the counties to do the 25% or if it was going to be less than that. So as Ms. Taylor already stated, the county will be liable for the 25% non-federal share. And there's a lot more that will go into that me and Ms. Taylor both can talk to you about later on, or we can answer any questions that you have now.
So we did receive 4 applications, 3 of which were in Cannleton Hollow, just past the Smithers city limit sign, and then 1 was in the Deepwater community. A requirement of all of these properties is that they do have to be appraised. And again, this is a 75-25 cost share, so the cost of the appraisals would be 75% FEMA and a 25% non-federal cost share. And like Kevin said, we have yet to receive any guidance as to whether the governor's office will be willing to pay this non-federal share, or if the county would be responsible for paying that non-federal share. We do have to have the properties appraised in order to determine their fair market value, because that is what pays.
And with what Ms. Taylor has also stated, the county would have to foot the bill at front for those appraisals, which then will be reimbursable back to the county. But you also have, Leslie, if I'm not mistaken, we could apply for
Advanced assistance.
advanced assistance, but it is not guaranteed that we'll receive advanced assistance.
That's correct.
Is there a reason we're only considering the Fayette County residents in the unincorporated areas and in the city of Smithers?
There are
Each-
also scheduled meetings for the city of Oak Hill and the town of Golly Bridge, but the county commission can only hold title to the property that would be in unincorporated areas. That's why the commission is only being asked to consider an application for folks in unincorporated areas of the county.
I just was referring to the match required, the government match required, because we know the city of Smithers isn't going to be able to contribute to these, even with the money it collected on their behalf, since it put it toward a ball field. So
Commissioner Taylor, that's one of my questions that I brought up to my colleagues at the state level, is not knowing the certainty of the percentages that's going to be required to pay. Some of these smaller some of these smaller cities may not have that funding available. But as Ms. Leslie Taylor stated, the county can only do what is not incorporated.
well, we can only acquire the property in those areas, but that doesn't mean we couldn't contribute the match for areas within a municipality, right?
That is correct, because we have done hazard mitigation grant buyouts before that was countywide, that was involved with other HMGs, and the county, even though it was a municipality, the county still acquired that land, but then we returned the land back to the city as the landholder. So for instance, the city of Mount Hope, we did buyouts in Mount Hope through HMGP. Once that HMGP was done and everything was final, the county transferred the land to the city of Mount Hope as the landholder. So it's not in our name. Only thing that is in our name is outside of the corporate limits of Mount Hope. Everything inside Mount Hope is signed over to the city.
So what's the decision we have to make today?
Well, the decision there, you should have a resolution in front of you that basically agrees that the county commission does want to submit a hazard mitigation grant program application. And then you also need to determine whether or not you would like to go forward with the solicitation of a certified appraiser to determine the fair market value of those properties.
Now, if it's awarded, do we have to follow that it's being awarded?
Do we have to accept the award? Is that what you
Excuse
mean?
me, yeah, we have to accept and yeah, accept the award.
Residents can go all the way through the process. And if they get to the point where it's time to sign on the dotted line and they decide that they are just not happy with that fair market value, they can decide not to sign on the dotted line, and they're not obligated any further, nor would the county be obligated for that property other than the appraisal.
So can the county do the same thing the resident can do?
No.
That's what I was asking the county.
I
No,
don't,
sir.
I don't believe you could. If you start through this process and agreed to file the application, you are agreeing to file the application.
Right, well, we're going.
Leslie, are you going to be available in the next hour?
I do have another call at 11 o'clock.
Okay, so probably next half hour. I'm gonna want to ask for legal advice on this, so if we can, and then we may need to call you from executive session.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, you want to try to finish some or go to executive session?
Let's knock these others, let's knock this other out.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
Executive management.
Okay, yeah, okay. Then at 5.
5.
Okay, so that is your DHHR grant. Go ahead.
Number 5.
We could go back to Miss Davis. Angela got hold of her.
Okay.
They can't. They're having trouble with the technology and accessing the device. So they told Angela this is they're going to find, they're gonna get somebody who is more technologically savvy to help them.
Today or another time?
We were rescheduling. send them
Okay.
notice.
Okay.
November 1st.
I was kind of wondering.
I told her it'd probably be November 1st.
Do we have sufficient time for notice to be
Oh, yeah, today's the 7th.
18th?
Today's the 18th rather. I mean, that gets us, it's 2 weeks from the first is 2 weeks from today. So I'll do the notice today and we'll get it out today and that.
Okay.
I think it's more than good.
All right.
Okay,
Just
so I move that we postpone that to November 1st.
second, all in favor? Number 5.
So this is the Emergency Medical Services Salary Enhancement Fund grant. You will sign to accept this grant from the DHHR. I called and spoke with the guy in Charleston, and I got all kinds of information. Basically, it's all clear as mud, and they're going to send out another communication at some point to explain how to use it, but it's based on, it's $300,000 for salary enhancement. And then there's an additional 18 and some odd, I don't remember the amount. $18,181 that goes towards the regional crisis response team, which we have a crisis response team now. Don't know if it's regional. This would fund 10 people to go to training. That's all it does is training. The salary enhancement is based on the 911 calls for the last calendar year where ambulances were dispatched. He said only 911 tone calls. And then you base the percentage of all of those 911 tone calls per service. That's how much that service gets. And then he said he strongly recommended doing it monthly. I think quarterly disbursements would probably be easier, but they have to report back the EMT, their EMT number, and the gross amount to account for all the money. So that goes towards salary enhancement. And like, I mean, I did some of the numbers, but I didn't do it until he gives it to us in writing. There's no point. So basically you're asking for the money when you sign this.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number, you want to get now?
Yeah, I move that we go into executive session at this point to discuss item 3 on Exhibit A. You are a board member, expired terms, and that's got some legal advice we need to seek on that. Also on the matter that we just had before us, the Hazard Mitigation Program grant. I want to seek legal advice on that issue. And that's it. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. I'm gonna call the meeting back to order. We was coming out of executive session. There was legal advice, but no decisions was made. All right, where are we at? I forgot.
We are at,
Numbers 5 or 6.
well, we've got the 10 o'clock, we're going on the regular. We'll have a
Oh, yeah,
vote on that one.
thank you, Ms. Taylor. The 10 o'clock, and I thought we voted on that. Didn't we vote on that?
No, we didn't.
That's the rest of the way.
I wanted to
Okay.
get advice on it.
Okay, all right. Ms. Taylor?
Um,
I'm talking about the other Ms. Taylor.
Leslie,
Yeah, there's too many Taylors around here.
Thank you. You had me confused.
so she already presented. We just need to make a decision on this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, okay.
Well, I'll go ahead and make a statement motion. I mean, as I mentioned, 5, we have 9 people within the county who need this assistance. And when we looked at the numbers, even for the 4 that are within, they're not within a municipality within the county, but the county or county jurisdiction, we believe it's gonna be too much money based on what the representations that Commissioner Brenneman made based on attending the meetings, the appraised values of the properties and what we think the market value would go. The county would likely have to cough up a good deal of money that would benefit only 4 people. And in my mind, were we inclined to contribute to this program from our level, we would contribute to all 9 and not just the 4, which would increase that number substantially. So I'm going to move that we do not approve the Hazard Mitigation Program grant application.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right. You want to go ahead and past 10:15, you want to discuss the. Well, we can do it at 10:15, I guess.
Exhibit list.
You want the
Yeah.
exhibit A?
Management and preservation board.
I guess we can finish it, yeah.
So you have to pick which project you will prioritize.
So there are 2 applications. The assessor has submitted an application to get 2 scanners and then use all of the allowable expenses for overtime for their current employees to do the scanning of the property record cards that they have. They have 3, they already have movable track shelving, and there are 3 sides of shelving that are full of property record cards. They're currently disorganized and they're hard to find, and if you do get them out, they're starting to deteriorate because they're older. So this would cut down on wear and tear on those and allow the employees to pull them because they'll be digitally filed and be easily accessible. So there's that one. They've not had one, I think it was since 2019, maybe 2018. And then the second application is for the tax office to get additional movable track shelving for the safe room. 2 years ago, they got movable track shelving for their tax deputy side, and this helps. It just truncates the space and allows them to have more of the records that they need on a daily basis, easily accessible to them. And then they just need the same thing for the tax office chief deputy safe room. So they had the sheriff's office had a records management grant last year for scanners. Tax office had their shelving 2 or 3 years ago. So we typically try to spread it out and prioritize somebody who has not had an application in a couple of years as the top application. There's a chance both could get funded. We're just only allowed to submit 3 total applications and we have to prioritize them.
So the assessor was like 2019.
So are these competing applications?
Correct.
I'll tell you, I mean, I was in here begging the county assessor to digitize his files just so he could clear some space in the hallway over there. So I'm gonna move that we approve the county assessor request over the tax office request.
And I don't think I have a problem with that because it's been since 2019 that he's requested anything as far as that, correct?
Yes, and we will submit both applications, if you're okay with the match for both. It's a
So we
1.1%.
can submit them both,
Yeah.
but we can only accept,
You have to prioritize just which one you
if
think.
they're both accepted, we have to, okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay, I can go with that, yeah.
Okay, well, then I'll change my motion. I move that we accept them both with priority being the county assessor's office.
Second.
Right here on the front.
All in favor?
Thank you. Is it blue, Tom? Is it blue?
Yeah, I got it here. I don't know why I was looking around there.
Oh, you did, thank you.
Yep. Assessor first. All right, the next is the response letter to Judge Blake.
Okay, I wrote the response to Judge Blake's letter requesting for an update on the probation office. Sent it around to all the other commissioners yesterday and we now have it on letterhead. I move that we approve it.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
And then the last is the letter to non-exempt employees for payroll system classification. We've talked about this multiple times. And it's basically just letting them know they're not gonna be set up as salary anymore, they're not salaried employees. And then their pay will reflect actual hours worked, including overtime. But I think we need to add a date. Like you're required to give a full pay period's notice, so I'm thinking
You got a
the
date?
second pay period in November is what I'm thinking. That gives them 2 pay periods notice.
I move that we approve it effective the second pay period November.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
But at least more funding requests, and that's it, right?
You need to take action on the.
Item 3, yeah. So I'm gonna move that we strike that from the agenda for now. Exhibit A, item 3.
Second,
All
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now the funding. So we received, you want me to just
Go ahead, Ms. Taylor.
hurry? We received multiple requests. One, I'll just read them off. City of Montgomery, $10,000 for playground. Anstead VFW, $20,000 for building repairs. Sal's, $25,000 for housing program. From our new is it land reuse agency, $250,000 for land acquisition development. That's relating to dilapidated housing. In addition, we had a couple of holdover requests from earlier this year from the food pantry, $37,000, and just for kids, $40,000. I move that we approve the city of Montgomery for 10,000.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Why don't we do them as a group?
You want it?
You want to do them as a group? Can you do them as a group?
Yes, we can. Well, I move that we approve them all except for Sal's and the land reuse agency.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
182,000 total. And that includes, sorry, that includes the Fayette County pool too. We've already allocated that money.
It's all on the agenda, correct?
Yep, motion to adjourn.
Second. Oh, yeah.